suitable for general family viewing.
Hello there and welcome to yet another episode of Beyond the Limit. My name is Zainab Mohammed, and on this week's episode we'll be discussing post-traumatic stress disorder. What is PTSD? What are some of the causes of PTSD, and who is at risk of getting PTSD? With me here to discuss this important topic is a brilliant panel consisting of, right next to me, Dr. Jen Nyutu, co-founder, Mind and Beyond Counseling Center. At the center, Dr. Rehab Gathushi, clinical psychologist and a lecturer at Mount Kenya University. And at the far end, last but not least, Dr. Sarah Mushai Kimaru, Dean, School of Social Sciences, and coordinator persons with disability at Mount Kenya University. Thank you so much for making time. Karibuni sana. Dr. Jen, what is post-traumatic stress disorder and what are the symptoms of PTSD?
When we talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, it's a serious mental disorder that is characterized by the person being unable to recover from something they experienced. For instance, right now we have the war in Syria and Turkey. The people who are experiencing, not the war, the earthquake, yeah. The people who have experienced the earthquake, they may not recover from what they have seen in a very long time. And it is also characterized by re-experiencing what they see and having flashbacks and nightmares. When they go to sleep, they are unable to sleep completely. The images of the traumatic event, maybe the accidents that happen on the road, when people die, witnessing war, you realize that people keep those images in their minds and they keep recurring even when they are at work. And PTSD actually interferes with the daily functioning of a person, the way they behave, the way they work, the way they feel. And that is why it becomes very serious. The people who go to fight, they are called the soldiers, the policemen. Those who work in disaster-prone areas, they face a lot of challenges. The accident people undergoing, the people who are frontliners in hospitals and they are receiving the dead bodies, they also experience trauma. The people who go to quench fires at night, when people are burning, when the houses are burning, they experience PTSD a lot. So it is a wide range of mental health issues that make the person go through so much and they are unable to comprehend what is happening around them.
Dr. Rehab, what causes PTSD?
PTSD is caused by some of the experiences that people go through, especially those experiences that are traumatic, and that's where the word that word comes from. When we talk about the post-election violence in Kenya, we talk about the war in Russia and and maybe the accidents that we see on our roads. I mean, the fires. When somebody experiences those kinds of traumatic experiences in life, what happens is that it gets into their system and they are unable to get over it. So they have re-experiences over time. Now, PTSD, it is called post-traumatic stress disorder after maybe after about 1 month. If somebody continues to re-experience, if somebody continues to have these thoughts, intrusive thoughts, if this person continues maybe to have sleeplessness and all that, then that is post-traumatic stress disorder. In other words, it is now no longer just it cannot be ignored. It has now escalated to that level. And it can continue for as long as years. Yeah, it can, maybe after 1 month, it can continue if it is not taken care of. Somebody can keep re-experiencing, can still continue having those intrusive thoughts. Somebody can continue having those nightmares over and over again. Yes.
Dr. Sarah, have we accepted as a society that PTSD is real and it's there?
To some extent, we may say not yet, because the society assumes that the person should be able to realize that they are through with the issue or with the matter, and they should get back to normal. And so you find that society will take it like this person is seeking attention. They may ridicule this person. They may make fun out of them before they realize that it's real. So we are still in a society where we have really not fully accepted it. But as you have heard, when you see these reoccurrences, is when you see they are becoming repetitive. This person is screaming, they cannot sleep. This person is recalling on what happened. He's trying to talk about the experience he had, and you just maybe assume them. So majority of the persons will be assumed until now it happens that this is now becoming a nuisance because this person is not able to go over it. So I think we get to accept there is a challenge when it has already gone too far. Yes.
Dr. Jane, for the sake of our viewers, you as an expert, when you're dealing with a patient, how can you tell that this particular patient is undergoing PTSD? Are those boxes that you tick and say that these are the signs that shows that this person is going through PTSD?
When a client comes and they have PTSD, there are those tools we use. Maybe they're able to tell us they're having sleepless nights. And one of the main things is re-experiencing the traumatic event. For example, there was this fire tanker that burnt at Changwawan. And somebody who was driving, the car just gets burnt. They had just talked to the wife, to the children. The next minute, they are told the person is dead, burnt beyond recognition. So they will come and tell you their stories. You listen, and then they are telling you, they start crying. Yeah, and it's like it is happening at that time now. They will tell you that they are irritated, they are angry with God. Why us? Why our relative? Why my spouse? They will be so like withdrawn because they are imagining that people don't understand them. So somehow by the stories they tell, you are able to know that they are suffering from PTSD. Yes.
Okay. Dr. Rahab, in the same breath, is PTSD treatment effective? Can someone get help and get better?
Like any other psychological issue, PTSD can be treated. If somebody seeks for help, those that have sought for help have been helped. Those that have not ignored the symptoms, is only that in our society, sometimes people have not known where to seek for this help. But it is good for the viewers to know that there is help available because we have therapists, we have people that work, with mental health, and they can always seek for help. And the mental health workers will use cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. It has worked quite well. There are also other methods of treatment that are still available here in Kenya. And once one goes through therapy, it can be helped. Yes, so treatment is available.
Before I get to you, Dr. Sarah, Dr. Jane, you had told me about ways in which a therapist or a specialist can help you deal with the trauma slowly. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think what therapist does is sometimes organize even a group session for people who have experienced trauma, because group therapy works better. When people sit together, you discuss a loss that left you traumatized, a fire that burnt your home, and you realize that I'm not alone in this walk. There are other people who have gone through worse things. So therapists have different ways of dealing with people who are traumatized, and even the talk therapy, when you do one-on-one counseling and you listen to their tales, and we have the skills we use to help them keep expressing themselves. Therapists show the empathy, they don't judge. When you burst into tears, there is that way that they'll tell you it's okay, continue, take time, cry, move on, you know. And these people, when they keep following up, they get well.
Dr. Sarah, as a society, how can we support those who have PTSD?
With PTSD is the post-traumatic stress disorder. You realize when it's not taken care of well in time, it leads to a society disorder, kind of, yeah? Society anxiety disorder, where this person, again, will try to keep off and, again, want to remain isolated. But I feel, though we have the trained therapist, I think the society should also get to learn some of the ways to deal with it. If in the family you realize there's somebody who has gone through a trauma, at one time it's good to really assess on how are they going about it, how are they dealing with the issue. Just try to see what are they able to recall. And that is when you know to what extent this person is still being weighed down by this particular trauma, and you're able to tell when do you seek medical help. There is also need for this person, for the society to get to know more about how to treat such cases. Today we are in an open world where people can source information. So if you realize there's somebody who is experiencing this PTSD, it's good also to read about it. It's good to do some search. And even you can now make an extra effort and visit a therapist and get to know how do you treat this person who looks like they are still going through that particular trauma in an extreme way. For example, maybe this person watched their brother drown, and still the same picture remains in their mind. So anytime they see little water, even in a basin, you'll find they are experiencing some stress because they imagine this water is what made my brother or my sister die. And that is when you know this stress disorder is in an extreme level. So as a society, we need to just desire to learn more about it and desire to walk the journey when you realize that a relative is going through this, or even a colleague at workplace, because these are things that you cannot ignore. We have colleagues at workplace, we have friends, we have relatives who are going through this. And so as a society, we need to be always alert and even be in the know that if these people have been believed, what do you experience? They cannot just overcome in a night or in a week. They will be going through some stress. But then you get to know how much do you expect? To what extent do you expect this to happen? If it prolongs, then there is need to visit a therapist. Yes.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Upgrade your DStv package to enjoy all the content you love. That means if you're on Access and you upgrade to Family, you get boosted to Compact. If you're on Family and you upgrade to Compact, you get boosted to Compact Plus. And if you're on Compact and you upgrade to Compact Plus, you get boosted all the way to Premium.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Dr. Rehab, is there a difference between acute stress disorder and PTSD?
The symptoms are the same. The symptoms for both conditions are the same, just like Dr. Jane enumerated them. However, acute stress disorder will take a shorter time. When somebody experiences those symptoms for maybe a month or less, that one is acute stress disorder. But now when it goes beyond a month and onwards, like we said that PTSD can go even for years, then you'll know that now they have developed PTSD. That means that from acute stress disorder, one can now graduate into post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, so that is the difference.
Levels?
Yeah, it's the level.
Okay. Dr. Jane, is anger related to PTSD?
Yeah, it is actually related. Why? Anger is an emotion to deal with pain. And the people who are going through PTSD, they are having anger towards God, maybe because where was God when the earthquake was happening? Where was God when the accident was happening? When my house was burning? Where was God when my loved one dies? So there is that anger that is expressed to God, anger expressed to the self, like what could I have done better to save this life? Me as Jane or whoever is going through the PTSD. So they blame themselves. There is anger towards doctors. Why didn't they save the life of my loved one? Why didn't they maybe take more time to resuscitate, resuscitate the person? There is anger towards maybe the spouse who brought divorce to my mother. Why divorce? Why separation? The teenagers, they get angry when, for example, the relationship is not working. Why has they abandoned me? Anger is part of PTSD. If it is not addressed in good time, it can progress to bitterness, it can progress to exhaustion and all the way. Yeah.
Dr. Rehab, do you have anything to add?
Like Dr. Jane is saying, when something that causes trauma happens, like some of those episodes where we find people maybe losing their loved ones, maybe burning their things burning, and war and all that. Of course, the first thing that comes is a feeling that why should it happen to us? And so people get angry. Anytime that things don't go right, the next thing is that even as you get the shock, the next thing is to get into anger. And that is what happens in traumatic situations. People will get the shock first of all, and then after that they start now getting into anger. So the PTSD and anger are related. Anger is an emotion that will come like almost when things are not working the way you would have wanted them to work. So it is an emotion that will be related to the negative situations in life. And PTSD is one of them.
Is it a big indicator of PTSD? Is it like a main one?
I wouldn't really say that it is a main indicator of PTSD, but it is part of most of the negative things that happen in mental health. However, PTSD, they are the cardinal symptoms. Anger could maybe be an emotion that is coming because of something else. just as it comes with PTSD, but we cannot call it a cardinal symptom for PTSD.
Okay. Dr.
Yeah.
Sarah, talk to us about stigma and PTSD.
Just repeat the question.
Talk to us about stigma and PTSD. Is there stigma surrounding PTSD, and what are the effects of or consequences of stigma to those who are affected by PTSD?
That's a good question. We all know that anytime a person behaved out of the norm, people are likely to treat you abnormally. People are likely to discriminate you. People are likely to think that you are seeking attention. People are likely to assume and even make fun out of where you are and what you are. But unfortunately, it can get to another level where people will think that you have been bewitched. Now they will assume now it's no longer a stress disorder. They will assume that maybe there are things you had done. For example, you had maybe stolen some items from a person, and now you are bewitched, and that is why you are in such a dilemma.
Like it's some form of punishment.
Yes, it's a form of punishment. So there is that stigma where people still imagine maybe you have been disobedient to your parents, and maybe you are cursed. So they will start looking at your history, and will associate your behavior with where you are. Like I've seen in our place where people are known to be carrying items. You see a person is always carrying a bag, and people will assume that it's because you are employed at one place and you stole clothes or you stole some cereals, and so you are bewitched, and so that is why you end up carrying bags all the time. People are not likely to see the reason that it is a certain scenario that you went through, and it is bringing a mental illness by itself. However, we feel that the society has to really look in a way that we can address the matter, and be beyond now just making some judgments. Let's seek medical attention. Let's go and help get to know the root cause of this. First, let's go and really look for the medical reason before we do a blanket judgment that this person was cursed, or this person was bewitched, or this person refused to forgive. I have seen some scenarios of where people, because of how much close they were with their spouses, before the spouses passed on, you'll find that when the spouse passes on and this person still carries with them the stress of the loss, these people will associate the person with, like, this person unajua niye alimroga, or this person is a person, he had not loved her so much, so she is in denial, or she is feeling guilty that this person died. They will not associate it with that it is a loss that this person is suffering. They will not say as if it's a normal situation. They will associate it with something that you may have happened, you may have done. So I feel that we need to, and maybe that is why we are getting to it becoming a depression kind of, and even to leading to suicidal, because of how the society treats it. But if we take a caution early enough, maybe we can salvage. Yes.
Dr. Jane, does PTSD ever go away?
If it becomes a self-stigmatized thing, where you feel like you are judging yourself too harsh, you blame yourself, and you perceive that it happened because you failed, that blaming yourself. And now when the society also stigmatizes you, and you actually internalize the stigma, then it means it will take long to heal. For clients who are willing to disclose and talk about it and let go, it comes with the forgiveness, it comes with the hard work and willingness to deal with the real issues. They get better, they get healed totally. There are other underlying factors that may come and hinder the healing. The personality factors, the hardiness of the person, the levels of the resilience, and how they are able to cope with the circumstances, the support they get from family and friends, and their faith in God. So there are so many factors that are underlying the healing. But when the person decides enough is enough, I'm going to self-care, I'm going to deal with it, I have a life has a meaning despite all that has happened, then there is a personal resolve and also working with the right people.
Dr. Rahab, what are the extreme forms of PTSD? How does it look like when someone is at a very bad stage?
Like any other mental illness, PTSD can get to extremes. Like we have already said that one experiences maybe lack of sleep. It can go to an extent where one does not get to sleep at all, and that is an extreme case. The other one could be this reoccurrence. You are always seeing it is the episodes are repeated. What happened in that episode is repeated over and over again, and as these things continue to escalate, one may start exhibiting symptoms of psychosis. And of course, that is when people start saying this person is crazy. They may look like they're out of their mind. And it is because the symptoms have continued to escalate. And I would think that that would be the extreme of PTSD, where somebody really would start exhibiting symptoms of a psychotic nature. Yeah.
As we wrap up, I would like us to ponder on, at a policy level, what can we do? Because clearly this is something that is there with us. It's something that is being ignored, and it's something that 10 to 15 years might affect us in a negative way. So I'll start with you, Dr. Sarah. What can we do at a policy level?
I see that with PTSD, we need to bring on board regulations in both health and non-health sectors. We let it be known that what is PTSD, what is this that can be done about it in all sectors. Actually, and I feel education sector is a place where such policies can be emphasized, because it's where everybody has to go through the system. So if we educate and make the people be more enlightened, to some extent we can salvage this matter. Yes.
PTSD is just one of the many mental health issues that we have. And personally, I feel that the issues of mental health need to be put on the limelight. A real bit more focus, because there is a lack of understanding and knowledge concerning the issues of mental health, and a lot has been ignored until lately. That is when people are starting to understand there are things like PTSD, depression, and all that. Before, society would look at people suffering these mental health issues like they are pretending, they want attention and all that. So maybe from where I sit, I think we really need to focus on mental health issues, PTSD being one of them. We need to bring these things into the limelight, that society may know that we are faced, these things are real and they are here with us. And as days go by, there are traumatic situations that are happening. Like it has become like almost a daily thing. You hear people are shooting others, families are killing others in front of the children. There are traumatic situations over and over again happening in our midst. So I think we need to bring in a lot more focus. We need to bring in the issues of mental health into the limelight. Let the society know that there are critical issues that we are dealing with, and they are affecting a population, and something needs to be done.
Dr. Jane?
Yeah, I think the Ministry of Health is very key in this because they are the opinion leaders in issues of also in mental health. And working together with bodies, like the counseling bodies in Kenya, which is actually happening, but now it should happen in a more, deliberate manner, knowing all the kind of mental health challenges that the country is going through. We have just come from post-COVID issues. Now we have droughts. Yeah, there are many people in the wards who are having cancer. Cancer illness is alone mental health. I mean a post-traumatic stress disorder issue. And we have many young people who are jobless, who are desperate. The society is prone to more challenges in the future. So the teamwork, the team spirit, and having the opinion leaders in all sectors talk about it, and like what TV47 is also doing, it's also very important, bringing these issues into the people, into the community, and the government to be aware through the Ministry of Health for support. Yeah.
Well,